Hello and welcome back. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a 3D ballpoint pen in Adobe Illustrator. And I'm going to go ahead and just get started. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our pen tool from our toolbar palette over here. And we're just going to make a straight line. And you could certainly use your line tool to do this. I'm just going to make a click and then hold shift down, go a little ways down, and press click again to make a straight line. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and zoom in on the line just using my magnifying glass tool, or you could do Control plus on your keyboard. And then what I'm going to do to the straight line is I'm going to use my add anchor point tool. And what you do is if it's underneath the pen, so if you click on the pen and hold down, go down to your add anchor point tool, or you can press the plus sign on your keyboard. You'll do that. And we'll add one point here, one point right below it. If you miss the line, it gets angry at you. And one point down here somewhere. And then we'll take our direct select tool, and we will highlight the 3 points that you just added. Then you can go ahead and just use your arrow keys. Make sure you only have a stroke selected just so you can see kind of what's going on here. Okay. And you're going to just move it out a little bit. Something like that should be good. I moved mine down a little bit as well. Okay, that's probably pretty good for now. Then what I'll do is I'll select this top point that we added right here, and I'm going to just click that over one, two, probably, no, maybe just one to the left, and then I'm going to take this one right below it and move it up a little bit. And we'll see what that looks like when we make a 3D revolve. Okay, so this is what you have right now. I'm going to go ahead and take my add anchor point and add one more right up there. And I'm going to take my left arrow and move that over just a little bit. Okay, and now we're ready to see kind of what one more thing. We want to kind of round this out at the bottom. So you click on your pen tool, hold down, and go to your convert anchor point tool. And then we will go ahead and click on that bottom anchor point and hold down shift and just kind of round it out down there a little bit. Okay, now like I was saying before, let's go ahead and actually at this point select our object and make our stroke white, because our ballpoint pen is going to be white. Then what we'll do is we'll go up to Effect, down to 3D, and to Revolve, and you should be able to keep all these same settings. You can press preview and see what it should look like. It should look something kind of like this. I'll probably change that a little bit, but something like this should be good. And press OK. This is a little bit wider than I wanted, so I'm going to just drag this side in a little bit, and I'll go ahead and stick with that for now. This tip up here, I think I want to pull this anchor out a little bit, so I'm going to do my direct select tool and click on this top anchor and have it come out a little bit. Let's go ahead and add another anchor up there. So we'll take our add anchor point tool. We're going to do something similar that we did down here, right up here, but I think maybe we'll go ahead and let that stagger a little bit. Okay, so we'll select these two that are close to the top, move them out a little bit, and the closer you move them together, the more abrupt that little arch is going to be. Okay, something like that should work for our purposes here. You can certainly modify it and make it look any way that you want. All ballpoint pens kind of look a little different. This is the one that the look that I'm kind of going for. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down just a little bit more. Okay, that's starting to look pretty good. Now, as you can see, the whole thing is white, and you want this top area and this area to be not white. So what we'll do is we'll take our scissors tool. It should be below your eraser tool. You click down and go to your scissors tool, or you can press C on your keyboard. And you will go, let's try to find where the anchors are. You can see they're a little bit up here. So we will select that and click on our scissors tool. And we're going to go ahead and clip right where that anchor is up there, so that it cuts off right where we joined up there. And actually, let me press Control Z and go back. I want to zoom in on that so I cut it right where I want to, because we still want this lip. So I'm going to cut it right above that anchor point. And then what I'll do is take this and I'll press Control C on my keyboard and then Control V to make a copy and paste. And what I'll do is I'll do the same thing with the tip up here. I'm going to cut that right above this anchor point right there. That'll give us our tip. And we can just delete this little middle piece here. And what we'll do here is select this shape that we have now, and we're going to give that a color. The color of those are usually maybe like a dark gray or something. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then for this, we'll just use kind of one of these gold colors. Maybe this brown should be good. Yeah, we'll do that. And then you just line them up the way that they would have been before. And should be good to go. Okay. I went ahead and grouped those together to make them one. I pressed Control G on the keyboard with both of them selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both of these, and I'm going to go ahead and just center them so that they're right on top of each other. That way when I drop this down, it should be right where I want it. Looks like it's a little bit bigger, but we can always drag one of these sides in to preserve that lip down here. Okay, I don't really like the color of this nose, so what I'll do is I'll click on this, press Control Shift G to ungroup it, and I'm going to make this a little lighter, I think. Something like that should be good. I'm going to select black now, and make sure that that's my my fill color and not my stroke. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my shape tool and select an ellipse tool. I'm going to press Shift and click and make a tiny, tiny ball. Select that ball and put it closest to the tip of this pin as possible. I'm going to zoom right in on it. As you can see, the tip of my pin is not covering everything that it should, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust that right now. Okay, and now I'm going to select this ball and put it about where I think it should be and make it about the same size as this divot. Okay. And then I'm going to just drag this bottom anchor of the ball up a little bit so that it looks like this ball is sitting inside the pin, like a ballpoint pen. And then I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out. Okay, so now you have your basic pin shape. And now what we are going to want to do is make a lid. I'm going to go ahead and group all these like I had done before, so I'll select them all and I'll press Control G on my keyboard. Now we make the lid, and what we'll do is we'll take our pen tool once again, and we will make a shape that looks something like this. And we want our stroke to be black. So you can see that this is the shape that we have. We're going to want to round out these top and bottom ends here. So we're going to take our Convert Anchor Point tool underneath the pin tool. Let's Shift C on your keyboard. And we're just going to drag these just to round them out a little bit. This one too. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll select that, and I'll do the same, go up to Effect, down to 3D, and Revolve, just like we did before. And we'll just press OK. Okay, that pin cap, as you can see, is too short and too fat. And so I'm just going to make the changes that need to be made. I think I want less of a lip there, so I'll just press A, and just move those down a little bit. Just make this a little bit wider. I'm going to zoom in, press A, move this this lip over a little bit, just a little bit, just to make the lip a little bit smaller. Okay, and that's starting to look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. As you can see, our light source isn't really showing, so what I'll do is I'll go up to Window, down to Appearance, and you can see 3D Revolve here. You can double click on that and change your light settings. So what we'll do is we'll click on More Options, and we want our high intensity light, probably, let's click Preview, and let's play with some of these until we have a better highlight in the middle there. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to play with this until I get it just the way that I want it. Here's the problem. Shading color is black. Nope, that's what we wanted. Sorry. Okay. Let's take the light intensity. Right. And then steps. There we go. Take your highlight size up to 100%. Now what we're going to do is take our light intensity down a little bit to 83 or so. And this will be good for now. You can certainly play with this a little bit more, but I'm not going to. Okay. So I'll press OK, and now we have that highlight on there, and it should be matching the one on the pin. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just drag that over the top of the pin, and make sure that the size is correct. As you can see, it's still a little bit big. So what we'll do is we'll just shrink it down until it fits the pin. And you can select both of them and press center. It's off a little bit. Okay, I'll go ahead and leave it like that. That's pretty good. As you can see, the highlight's off a little bit. You can adjust that in that last step that we just did. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. The cap might be a little bit long, or the pin might be a little bit short. Let's extend the pin a little bit. That looks better. Okay, now last thing we want to do to our pin is add the little the extension, the arm, or whatever you would call it on there. So what we'll do is we'll just take a rectangle tool, and we're just going to make a shape that looks kind of like this on there. And we'll just put it a little bit off to the side, something like that, perhaps. And we'll just fill it in with black. And then what we'll do is we'll go up to Effect, down to Stylize, and down to Round Corners, and we'll just give it like a 2-pixel rounding on the corners to make it look more realistic. And then what we can do is select that, and then select our let's go ahead and move that the highlight over a little bit using the same technique we used before. We'll just move our highlight over to the right, something like that. We'll press OK, and that way we can kind of move this over. If you move this on top of the highlight, you really should probably put the highlight down the side of this pin as well, which you can really do pretty easily. Just take a line or something and go down the right side of this pin, make it white, and then go up to Effect, down to Blur, and Gaussian Blur, and Gaussian Blur this line until it looks like a highlight. That was a little too strong. Blur, Gaussian Blur. Let's try half of that, around 2 pixels. Yeah, there you go. That's still a little bit strong, so we can actually just move this over a little bit. Yeah, and there's your highlight. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out, and I'm going to actually, let me zoom back in a little bit, because we want to make that pin cap one solid shape, so we'll select that highlight, we'll select that, well, select everything other than the pin, pretty much. And then we'll do Control G to group it, and that way now your cap's one shape. And now you pretty much have made yourself a ballpoint pen. I'll zoom in on it, and it's not only a ballpoint pen that you've made, but you can remove the cap, and if you want, in later stages you could put some logos on this pin. By what you would do is you would select your logo, and you would go into your appearance palette, and you would select the pen, and you would click on, and it would need to be ungrouped, I believe. So press Control-Shift-G on the keyboard to ungroup it, and then click on the 3D Revolve under your appearance, double click on it, and go to Map Art. And then that's where you can map any symbol on your 3D revolved objects. And you can play around with that until you find the right area to put it on. You would want, remember that this 3 of 6 area right here, that's actually showing the inside of the pin. You'll want to go to 6 of 6, and you can see when you're on the right area, it does highlight in red, but it is hard to tell from the inside to the outside of the pin. So I'll go ahead and press cancel. Another thing to remember that with that when wrapping logos or something around a pin is that you have to make your logo into a symbol. So you would have to go to Window, down to Symbols, and drag your logo or whatever into here. I'll just actually do it real quick. Here's the symbols that we have. We'll go up to Window, down to Appearance, to open up our Appearance palette. I'm going to go ahead and just put one of those symbols on the pin. And so you click on your 3D Revolve in your Appearance palette, click on Map Art. Okay, so like I said, go to 6 of 6, And let's pretend like we're a basket company or something. So I'll click on that, and that puts the basket right in the area. I believe the white area on there is the area that shows on this. You can press preview, see if that works, and it certainly does. And I can just you can shrink that down a little bit to fit the whole thing in the white area if you want. Something like that. And then I'll just press OK just to show you how it looks. And then I'll press OK. And there you go. You have that wrapped around the pen. And that's how you do that. So there's your ballpoint pen with a logo on it with a removable cap. You know, you can make some slight adjustments if you want. Like, for instance, this is probably too long. So we can just kind of shrink that down a little bit. Or move it up just like that. And then that's a little bit better. But anyway, there you have it. I hope you learned something. Please subscribe to my blog. Please follow me on Twitter and Facebook. And if you like this video on YouTube, please feel free to click that like button below. It really helps out. So thanks for watching.